Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to a new
Video vlog. Sunday vlog.
Sunday vlog. And today's vlog is about
Acceptance,
which is a very important word for the era we live in.
Yeah, I think important for not creating more pain for yourself than you already have. We live in a world where we're thrust a lot of ideas, a lot of options, a lot of dreams. You have this dream, you should have that dream, you should be a fighter, you should do this.
Be an influencer, which nowadays, the last 10 years has been so much about technological revolution. Is that the word?
That's right, yeah. It is a mouthful. Yeah.
We constantly have got, what Andrew said, this information of like, oh,
update
you have to
this,
be,
update that, improve this.
Look like this, because the people I follow, they look like fitness models, or they look like motorbike people.
Motorbike people, yeah, they look like motorbike people. Is that because of their tattoos, or why do they look like motorbike people?
I was like, well, because fitness models can be for both. Anyway.
Yeah. That was good. But yeah, so there are a lot of things out there vying for our kind of attention to try and get us to be a certain way. And with that, you can think, well, I can be everything. I can do all these things. But the fact of the matter is, we need to accept that if we try and do everything, we're going to miss that one path we need to be on, the thing that we really want to do.
Yeah.
And we have to accept that if we focus on one thing, and that one thing that we really love, then we can do that really well and be authentic with what we really want to do, rather than trying to do all these other things. And that takes acceptance, to accept that we can't have it all.
And also all the noise from all those things around you make you doubt, like, well, what is it that I want? But maybe I want to be an influencer because that's easy money, and that's how I get likes and how people will know me. But actually, if you really search and reflect on things and get to know yourself a bit better, maybe you realise that you really like working with animals, and that's actually what really makes you happy. So you want to start your own grooming business, or like I don't know, dog grooming or cat grooming. Do you groom cats? Don't know. But
I don't know. I think they groom themselves.
But you know what I mean.
Yeah. It could be anything. Your dream could be anything. So within that also, what we're also talking about is, what are things that are happening to you negatively that you need to accept? What pain is happening in your life, like emotional pain? You've lost a loved one. Maybe one of your family members is sick. One of your, you've come out of a bad relationship. You've lost that. Loss is something that we need to accept, because there's nothing we can do to get that thing back. It's not in our control. No. So how do we then accept that? And the first thing that we do is accepting the pain. As hard as that can be, you have to let it land on you. If you're not going to let that land on you and accept that feeling, it's going to snowball, and it's going to turn into a monster, a creature inside you, and it's just going to come up when you least expect it and bite your head off, and cause all sorts of anxiety and problems. So we have to really accept that pain. Yeah.
And also I keep linking back to the social media side of things, but you look at social media and everyone seems to be happy all the time. And of course we've got some influencers who share their vulnerability, which is great, and that's beautiful, because that is the truth. Like, even those people who don't share the negative side of things, they have bad moments. But because we're constantly comparing ourselves again then with people on our phones, but they seem to have everything under control. No, that's not life. Life is, and it's what everyone says, it's got its ups and downs. It's like the whole world, you've got mountains, you've got below sea level. It's everything is up and down. And what we always want when we
not
feel
in Holland.
Not in Holland.
It's flat.
Good one. But what we always want is to feel happy. We don't want to feel unhappy. So when we feel unhappy, what we do is like push. It's like you're pushing against a wall, saying, "But I don't want to be unhappy. I don't want to be unhappy." And by pushing against that wall, saying, "But I'm unhappy and I don't want to," instead of you saying, "Okay, I am unhappy, but I'm okay. I just allow myself to feel that pain." What Andrew just said, that will. Then you just allow it to be, and as soon as you accept pain, like we've both experienced that,
it starts to dissipate.
Yeah, because you allow it to be there, and then the impact it has on you is far less because it doesn't have to fight against anything. It can just exist.
And look, life is hard, and you're gonna have a lot more pain often in situations than you are good times, and you just gotta try and ride it out and trust that something good's around the corner.
Yeah.
So yeah, just from my personal experience, I wanted to share. Recently, I've had some great auditions, 4 or 5 really good auditions. Then I had a potential for work over New Year and work in the New Year in January for different things related to acting. And you can't not get excited about these things or have some hope because
as an actor,
yeah. But then nothing happened. It all fell apart. There was no work that came from it, and I was like, oh yeah, I feel a bit worthless, a bit. I don't like a spare part. Don't know what to do now. But instead of just being like, yeah, I'm just gonna go out and have some drinks with my friends and pretend that didn't happen, or I'm gonna, go and eat loads of food, or go and distract myself somehow to stop me feeling that. Go to the gym, all that. I just had to be like, okay, I have to let myself feel this, and it was rough for a couple of days. But now I feel better, and it's not festering within me, and I know that it's not gonna be there to sabotage my life later on. I've dealt with it, and it's just I've accepted that pain was there.
Yeah.
You had an experience.
Yeah, because before the vlogs we're always like, oh, do we want to share something? And we were like, yeah. So for me, a big thing in accepting was when I was 19, I was living in Amsterdam and I felt like a massive failure. So I had to stop with the dance academy I was on because I got injured, and I was in this park at one moment and I felt so empty and it was so dark. The sun was shining though, so in real life it was a lovely sunny day. It was on this bench and I was like, I saw these ducks, as you do. And
a row of ducks? Were they baby ducks?
No.
Oh.
So normally I'm like, well, because I love animals and I can really appreciate the small things in life. And I was looking at these animals and I was like, I don't feel anything. I couldn't appreciate the sun, and I was like, but I'm so unhappy. And at that point I thought, if I would never feel better than this, then what is the point, And at that point I had to accept that maybe a different path for me was the right thing to do. So I then ended up moving back home to my parents, which again, but I was like, no, but that's a failure, and I will fail when I do that, because all the people my age back then were having, in my opinion, they had everything sorted out. But then once I accepted the fact that I was just unhappy, and I just surrendered to that feeling of like, well, I'm going home now. And my parents were there with their open arms, and that's something I'm really grateful for. Then I started from, the start again. So I started my own dance school again. I started teaching acting, and that's how I got into acting. And now, so many years later, I'm in London and I'm an actor, and I've trained. But by me accepting in that moment of like, I'm lost, and I accept that I'm lost, things started to flow again. And I allowed myself, instead of swimming against the stream, I just turned around and I was like, well, let that stream take me somewhere, because I don't know. And that took me to amazing places.
And often we're told a lot in life, be a fighter, fight against those things they're getting you down. It's like, well, maybe that's not the right way to look at a certain situation. Maybe you just need to let it take you, like the river. And so those are a couple of things we've accepted
Yeah.
and have been hard for us to accept. So what are we challenging you to accept this week? Just find one thing, dig deep, look deep. It could be a relationship where you need to accept that it's not the way it used to be. You need to have a conversation with that person, maybe accepting that a loss of a loved one.
Yeah, or confusion about your studies or university or what. Yeah.
Yeah, or even accepting the fact that, you know, you do have an addiction problem with something. You know, we all have our abilities to distract and waste time on things to distract from other pain out there. What are the, you know, what is the pain that you're trying to push off, basically?
Yes.
And instead of pushing that off, sit with it, accept it.
Yeah, so that's our challenge for
It's a
this
tough one.
week.
Oh, it's like the hardest thing to do.
Yeah, but
So,
it's really good.
Yeah,
Because
I hope you guys can give it a shot.
Yeah. Well, thank you for watching, and
Thanks for listening.
see you next week.
See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.